Because a lot of times before we get to the lead role, we have to actually hold ourselves accountable to dance at that standard before someone else asks it of us. Let that sink in for a second. Hey dancers, it's Kirsten. Welcome back to the Confident Dancer YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about something that affects us all at one point or another, which is dealing with disappointment when you don't get the part that you want, when casting does not go your way. And of course, the points I'll share about how to deal with disappointment in this video definitely apply to things like when you don't get into the programs you want, or the companies, or the plethora of different disappointments that one can experience in this life, inside and outside of the studio. There's some things that apply in these points that I think you'll really benefit from. So if you want to be able to move through the stages of all the feelings that come up and move into actually having an enriching experience no matter what role you get, and moving past the disappointment of it so that you can even have a good time and feel fulfilled by your performance experience, then keep on watching. Point number one is a really, really simple shift, but it actually does make a difference, which is to realize that the emotions that are coming up for you are likely just because your expectations have been broken. Not because all the thoughts in your head are true, like you're not a good dancer, you're never the favorite, you're never picked, you'll never be good enough. It is so easy to get into a spiral of thoughts when our minds are really just trying to make sense of the emotion that we feel. They spin out into all these interpretations, just again, trying to make sense of the situation and why you're feeling that way. But when we just focus on the emotion and label it like, okay, what are the emotions I'm feeling? What were my expectations that were broken? What are the stories I've been telling myself about these parts? Which one is best for me? And all this that maybe need to be reconsidered. So just remembering that it's okay to feel disappointed, sad, frustrated, angry. Definitely process that at home, because sometimes, you guys, it's not always appropriate to just vent or dump all the information on someone. Yeah, like sure, if your parents are that source for you, that plays, amazing, God bless them, that's awesome. But one great tip I wanted to give you that I discovered in the last couple of years is video journaling. Yes, if you're an external processor like me, or just journaling, writing out, it's great. But there's something so cathartic that I've discovered about setting up my phone and just talking to the phone as if it's a therapist. And I just talk out exactly and honestly, like what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, the questions I have, the things I'm working through. And I talk until I feel this sense of resolution. And a lot of times, you guys, it's just a couple minutes. I mean, I've done it for like 20 minutes before. Some things in life you just got to keep talking through until they make sense. But it's just amazing how processing what you're thinking and feeling until you start to really hear yourself and hear the interpretations. And it's almost like you get to empathize with yourself and hear yourself out until you kind of feel like the weight has lifted off of your chest a little bit. That's a great thing about video journaling, talking it out, journaling. That's a really great outlet. And it's really great to have an outlet like that instead of just harboring it within. So that is point number one. Question the interpretations, focus on processing the feelings. Point number two is to question how you define the best possible outcome in the situation and open your mind to different possibilities of how the role you got actually could be better for you. I definitely have a story to back this one up. As a senior at the University of Utah in the ballet department, I had been accustomed to getting pretty good roles throughout my time there. Senior year comes around, there's a Balanchine piece that's on the program, and I'm like, awesome. Last time Balanchine rep got performed, I got great casting. It's gonna happen again. I started resting on my laurels. In retrospect, was a little entitled. I thought, oh, because it happened before, it'll probably happen again. Not wise, not wise. And I needed to learn that lesson, and it ended up, the experience that I had, which was actually getting put in the corps de ballet with the freshmen instead of in some of the demi-soloist or soloist or lead roles that I was hoping for, it ended up being such a gift to me. Because after I worked through like the outrage and the anger and the frustration and the embarrassment, honestly, like all the feelings that were coming up, I got to ask myself, okay, Kirsten, you have at least 5 months, 6 months, because we were going to perform this several times throughout the year, of rehearsing this piece, and you're going to do a ton of shows. Do you really want to undermine your own experience by holding on to anger, by being like, oh, this shouldn't have happened, oh, this is bad, I'm better than this thing? I just realized I'm not willing to pay that price of ruining my own experience by choice by holding on to that attitude. So I thought, okay, how can I make this experience work for me? That is a golden question, you guys. How can I make this experience work for me? How could this be an opportunity? See it as an opportunity. Everything is an opportunity. It really is. I know I am a broken record, and I always will be saying that, but it is so true. Every experience, every disappointment is an invitation to something. Choreographers, they can decide to cast whoever they want. It doesn't have to be personal. Like, there are so many lessons that I took from that were so valuable to me. And I only learned their value after really asking myself that question. How can I use this as an opportunity? Of course, I did take the initiative to ask for feedback. I asked if I could understudy better roles. None of those ended up in me getting cast in demi-soloist or soloist roles. And so after that, I was proud of myself for trying. And then that helped me to accept, like, okay, this is where I'm going to be. And then I asked myself, well, what kind of experience do I want to have? I want to have fun. I want to grow. And wow, that was such a semester of growth for me. Like, I grew so much. And one of the ways I used it as an opportunity was to practice getting away from that mindset of I need a certain role to be happy. No, you don't need a certain role to be happy. I know it's easy to think that way. No, you don't. Your happiness, to a certain extent, is your job. Your fulfillment is your job. What you choose to put on that stage is your job. What you choose to take from the experience, that's your job. Okay? I sound like Oprah. Not mad about that. Oprah's a queen. And so for me, I realized that I used to have that mindset of like, oh, I need a certain role to have fun or to be happy. And like, this would just be the best if I was a soloist and I would grow so much. And oh, I'm not being challenged in the core. It's like, well, hold on. And don't worry, I put myself through this. So I'm not just saying this to you as some tough love. I had to give that tough love to myself. I realized that it's just an attitude to say like, oh, I'm not challenged back here. And of course, there are certain contexts where, sure, like there are certain companies where directors really are not utilizing the talent of certain dancers. I totally recognize that that's a reality. And so, yeah, maybe going to a different company is just about the best thing that you can do. I understand that. But especially in the beginning stages of you working through casting disappointment or feeling like you're not challenged or whatever, ask yourself how you can hold yourself accountable to your own goals. How could you set your own goals for how you want to grow instead of just relying on the accountability of a lead role? Because a lot of times before we get to the lead role, we have to actually hold ourselves accountable to dance at that standard before someone else asks it of us. Let that sink in for a second. Hey dancers, I hope you're really enjoying this video so far. I want to briefly share something with those of you who have been experiencing things like low self-esteem, performance anxiety, self-doubt, putting a lot of pressure on yourself, comparison, caring a lot about what other people think, relying on external validation. I could go on and on and on about a lot of these common mental struggles that a lot of us dancers face, especially if you're dancing and training and performing at a high level. If that's something you've been experiencing and you really long to have the mental skills and support to be able to overcome performance anxiety, know how to perform well under pressure, overcome self-doubt, and actually start to trust and believe in yourself for real and build real confidence so you can enjoy dancing again and perform to your highest potential, if that's something that you want, that's exactly what the Confident Dancer Coaching Program is designed to help you do. This is my individual mindset coaching program that I've designed to help dancers build a healthy mindset that actually helps them to feel and perform their best consistently. If this is something you're interested in seeing, if it's a good fit for you, just click the link below to visit theconfidentdancer.com, learn all about what the program includes, how it works, read incredible testimonials from past clients that I've worked with, and schedule a free 30-minute consultation where you and I can connect, discuss your goals and challenges, and see, honestly, if working together would be a great fit for you personally. That's the best next step, and since it's no strings attached and totally risk-free to you, might as well give yourself the gift of pursuing this and seeing if it could really be that thing to take you to the next level in your dancing. So if that's something you resonate with or interested in, again, head to theconfidentdancer.com, and I look forward to connecting with you there. All right, let's head into the rest of the video. The next point is to really show up in whatever role you're given, not only as the best, dancer and interpreting the character to the best that you can, but be the person that you want to be in those rehearsals, in the way you think about it, in the way you talk about the role, the rehearsals, the performance. Take pride in it. Take pride in the work that you're doing. I have actually been to so many shows where I'm like, I'll be darned. That silly little quote about how there are no small roles, only small artists, it is true. I know we want to hate it sometimes. We want to hate it when we're angry, but it's true, you guys. I have seen roles that are honestly really small little character roles, like barely any stage time, but I see someone doing it with such integrity and I notice it from the audience and I'm like, wow. And I notice the dancers that are kind of just like going through the motions, the acting is super fake. We can see it, okay? We can see it. And so putting integrity into what you're doing and asking yourself, how do I want to approach this role with excellence and integrity, as if I am not only rehearsing for this role, but rehearsing one day to be at the front of the stage if that's where you want to be. I'm a big fan of start dancing at the level you want to be at before someone asks you to rise to that level. Sometimes people can get kind of laid back in smaller roles and feel like, oh, well, I didn't get what I want and no one sees me back here anyway. You guys, people do see you back there, especially in the rehearsal process. I have gotten opportunities multiple times as a dancer because the person directing the rehearsals saw how I was taking initiative in the back. And then they wanted to give me more opportunities. And I've seen that be true for so many other dancers too. I will say, when I was doing that, I wasn't doing it to like get attention. I was doing it because I wanted to take charge of my own growth and my own education at that time. Like I wanted to make the most of it. I didn't want to just sit around and get cold. I was doing it for my own intrinsic purposes. And it just so happened to be noticed. And that is such a great mindset to have. And I think sometimes when we do things for the role, for the attention, whatever, that's so extrinsically motivated that we can get really attached to, oh, I'm only going to do it if someone can see me. I'm only going to do it if I'm going to get something from someone else for the work I'm putting into this. And then that would cause you to probably get frustrated if they don't see you and reward you, or give up if you don't get that reward. And that in the end only really hurts you. So remember that you can really make not only the role what you want, but make the experience what you want. And that leads into my last point, which is to ask yourself, what is the experience that you want to have in the rehearsal process and on the stage? And when I say experience, I mean, what do you want to feel? Do you want to feel excited, passionate, happy, really engrossed in the character? Do you want to feel like you're growing? Or how do you want to grow? That's another great question. Like, not only how do you want to feel throughout the process, but how do you want to grow as a dancer? Like technically, artistically, in your own mindset, whatever that is. How do you want to grow? How do you want to feel? What's the experience you want to create for yourself? And a great way to also frame this is, how could this situation be working for you? How do you want to make it work for you? This is such a good moment in time to be asking yourself questions like that, because it does teach you to be in self-leadership and to be more intrinsically motivated, like doing things because you have an experience or outcome that you want to create for yourself, not just for someone else's approval or for something else someone else could give you, like a contract or a role or attention, whatever it is. Like really doing it because you have your own things that you're excited to create, whether that be an experience or growth or whatever. It's always good to balance those extrinsic motivators, like the results, like an award at YJP or a principal role next time, with those intrinsic motivations, like you want to do it to improve your consistency on stage, to learn better acting, to really learn how to get in character, or to start implementing that practice of practicing on your own instead of just in the rehearsals. There are so many ways you can grow. So ask yourself that and you will be off to a great start. So dancers, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what experience you want to create for yourself in the next performance, and feel free to also share maybe some of your thoughts or your story of casting disappointments you've been through recently, but how you want to make this work for you. I think it would be so great to hear from you in the comments, so be sure to share if you're open to that. I'd love to read those comments. I'm sure others would too. And again, thank you for watching. I'll see you in next week's video. Bye-bye. Artistically